Hey everybody, Pete, aka Through Red Butter, here, back again with another beer review, back again with another Treehouse beer, but as you might be able to see, a very special beer tonight. A beer part of their bourbon barrel aged line of imperial stouts called Truth. A few months back, they did a huge production, a huge project, a huge run of bourbon barrel aged stouts called Truth, which is just a bourbon barrel aged stout, and then a ton of variants on those. Excuse me, right there. I didn't get my hands on all of them, but I got my hands on a bunch of them. Very happy to do so. I've already shot some reviews. I'm just delayed in releasing them. I'm going to release them as a series, so whatever I say in the first review that might be, not up to date, whatever. But tonight we're coming at you with a coffee version, I believe also a maple syrup version. And like all of these, I'm going to show you this right now. The writing on the back label is just almost impossible to read, but it is a 13.5% bourbon barrel aged stout. This version is the Treehouse Brewing Moment of Truth Coffee. As you can see, brown label, brown logo on this one, so you know it's Moment of Truth Coffee. And I can really look at this. So we got truth is the ultimate expression, blah 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 blah. To elevate this character to new heights, we've crafted a limited run of Moment of Truth coffee. This variation was brewed with literal buckets of maple syrup and then conditioned on some of our favorite roasted coffee. There we go. Necessary to do that. So and I believe it's aged for over a year in bourbon barrels, then blended, and then this one has maple syrup and then aged on coffee. So I thought it just had coffee in it because it's called, Moment of Truth Coffee. I didn't know it had maple syrup on it until I read the label. Ooh, that is dark. Right there. All right, so let's see if we can get that right there. And truth be told, no pun intended, they're all called Truth something, like, barrel aged truth, double barrel truth, cookies and cream truth, stuff like that. This one's called Moment of Truth. I'm not sure if Moment of Truth is different from Truth, but I don't know. All right, so the appearance on Moment of Truth coffee, poured pitch black out of the bottle, sat pitch black in the glass, almost no head. What is there is completely dark black, faded away. It poured out like motor oil. I can tell right now, but let's get an aroma on Moment of Truth coffee. And apparently maple syrup as well. Maple syrup not good enough to make it into the title. Shut up. The bourbon hits first and foremost. Huge, it is not shy about the bourbon. Yeah, any coffee flavors I'm getting, they're subtle, so I'm not sure if it's the coffee notes you would get and aromas you would get from the barrel character itself, and maybe not necessarily from the addition of being aged on coffee, but coffee is there. And the label said literal buckets of maple syrup. No maple syrup at all. I mean, lovely, huge bourbon barrel aged stout and some coffee, but I mean, literal buckets, they're inked, but maybe the taste will yield something different. Let's get a taste on Moment of Truth coffee from Treehouse Brewing. Oh, cheers. Almost at the bottle. Sorry. Okay. Now, I'm trying to remember what I said in my other reviews of Truth because I've spaced them out recording-wise. Obviously, I have not released them yet. But what I definitely remember from every Truth I have reviewed, which includes the original Truth, it's a stellar bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout. Huge bourbon, chocolate, coffee, tobacco, char, a little bit of toasted coconut, like all the hallmarks you want out of a world-class imperial stout. And I believe I said this in the other reviews. I keep comparing it. I have Bourbon County brand stout is the thing I compare it to most. And that's what I get here. So I'm not sure if I should go on a rant. Maybe I'll save that for like an after, but we'll just talk about the beer itself. Great bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout. It's got all those notes, but okay, like I said in the aroma, and okay, I know it's not, but I'm gonna say this, half-heartedly. Is this a joke? In terms of the maple syrup, there's no friggin' maple syrup on the taste. There was nothing on the nose. Like, I don't know, am I not in on something here? It said literal buckets of maple syrup. I'm not sure how literally I should take that, but... And again, it's called Moment of Truth Coffee, not Moment of Truth Coffee and Maple Syrup. It doesn't promise anything on the goddamn title, but it says it in the description, which you can barely read, but there's no maple syrup anywhere. Again, at the same time, fantastic bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout. And again, like the nose. The coffee I'm getting from the taste. Is that the coffee it's being aged on, or are those just the natural coffee notes you get from an imperial stout and barrel character from the, from when it was aged in? But it's frustrating. I have to complain about a amazing bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout, but it's also not giving me what I promised. What I promised, take two. It's not giving me what they promised. There we go. They promised. Their fault, not mine. No maple. But we'll talk about what the beer does have. Again, dark chocolate, like Hershey's chocolate syrup. It is so decadent and tasty, but not cloying and sweet, which is great. Sweet bourbon, again, but not too sweet. You get the char and the oak and the vanilla and tobacco. Maybe even some dark fruit character as well. Again, trying to remember what I said in the other Truth reviews. They're all like the same descriptors. Like, it is a chef's kiss bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout. And again, pretty sure I said this in all the other ones. Mouthfeel. The body is so thick and viscous and luscious, velvety, smooth, soft. Oh my God. Amazing. And over 13%. There's tinges of an alcohol warmth right here. See that right there? Right there? Right there, there it is. But really, no. And the sweetness, again, isn't cloying at all. It coats the mouth in full, thick, luscious body. But it's not cloying at all. You don't have to scrape it off the back of your teeth. Huge sipper for sure, but I mean, it is just, decadent and great. But we'll get to my overall thoughts later. Later, I mean, after this sip. Really good. So, a straight final score, final rating, final verdict on the Treehouse Brewing Moment of Truth Coffee, 13.5% bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout, allegedly with maple syrup and coffee. I mean, I don't want to be a broken record, but I'll reiterate my talking points before. If we're just talking about this as a standard, standalone, non-adjunct bourbon barrel-aged stout, the Bourbon County comparisons I've made before, world-class, chef's kiss, load blow, perfect, perfect score, whatever you want to, effing use to describe such a thing. And again, any coffee that is there, it's not coffee forward enough where I can say, oh, that's definitely has an addition of coffee. Any coffee I'm getting is from the base beer or the barrel aging itself and the barrel character. In terms of, let's see if I read it wrong. This was brewed with literal buckets of maple syrup. Okay, no it wasn't. No, it friggin' wasn't. I'm telling you that right now. I've had maple stouts from this brewery, which had maple flavors to them. This doesn't. This does not have maple in it. Doesn't have maple, again, doesn't have maple in the title. Why would I think they would have maple in it? Is it the label a mistake? I don't know. And I know I have one in the fridge that's, I think, a French toast variation with maple syrup in it. Maybe that has maple in it. This doesn't. This does not have maple in it. And again, that's frustrating because on its own, if this was like regular truth, it's just a bourbon barrel aged stout. I'm not going to tell you what I gave that one, but it was pretty much all the way up there. But in terms of what it promised and what it gave me, can't do that. But at the same time, it's kind of, paradoxical. Friggin' amazing beer. Absolutely. But, so how do I score this based on what it promised and actually what it is? Well, my God, it is so good. But you didn't give me what I promised. Buckets full of maple. You're full of shit. So I have to ding it. You gotta ding it for that. It's the Griswolds going to Wally World. Oh, we were told it was going to be open, and it's not. Wally World is closed on this one, but they still got to enjoy a few rides. What a shitty comparison. Oh my God, just give a score. So 8. I'll give it an even 8.0 because it's a world-class bourbon barrel aged imperial stout, but doesn't give you what you promised at the same time. So fair score to give it is 8.0 out of 10 for Treehouse Brewing. Moment of truth. Kind of coffee and no maple syrup. There it is, right there. I'm going to be so bitter about this. Yeah, stop talking. That's going to do it for me. Through Red Butter. Till next time, cheers.